Hi, I'm Alexandra.
And I'm Evan.
And we are within hiking distance.
The first park we're going to talk about is Petrified Forest National Park. It's located in the eastern part of Arizona off of I-40, and it's between Flagstaff and New Mexico. It's close to the Painted Desert, and you can see some amazing badlands around there, so it's pretty cool to check out. It has one of the largest concentrations of petrified wood in the world, and the trees date between 211 million years and 218 million years ago. And they were covered by volcanic ash, and over time the woods organically became petrified and replaced by quartz and other minerals.
So one particularity of this national park is that there is no campground and overnight parking is not allowed. So you're going to have to stay outside of the national park. However, if you want to camp, you can actually do backcountry camping. You need a free permit for that, which you can get at the visitor center in the national park. So why we think it's underrated and why we love it? Well, first, the history is absolutely amazing. Imagine, the petrified forest existed already when the dinosaurs roamed the planet. It's absolutely, mind-blowing to me that it was already existing back then. And if you love rocks, you're not going to be disappointed. Petrified wood is absolutely fascinating. There are so many types of them, the different colors of quartz, and some of them look like they were just chopped off a tree. It's just really fascinating how the different colors, the different types, and how heavy it is as well. It doesn't really look like it's heavy, but it really is. It weighs about 200 pounds per cubic foot, so it's actually really heavy, and it's also hard to carve. So I think on the scale, like diamond is 10 in strength and petrified wood is close to 8. So it's just, the whole thing is just completely cool. And you can find pieces of petrified wood, but you can also see some logs. None of them are standing, they're all laying down, but they are just, some of them are really, really long, 10 feet long. So it looks like someone just cut that tree and it fell down and it's there, except that it's petrified.
Yeah, I think there's some definitely big ones over 10 foot in the parks, but they're all laying down and sometimes broken, but they're pretty impressive and pretty big.
Mm-hmm. And so it's important to know that it is illegal to pick up anything, just like in any national park, but even more in this national park, just because of how unique it is with all this petrified wood. So this national park is actually open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and closes at 5 p.m. Everybody's required to leave the park by that time.
And that's just the winter?
Right? That's in winter, yes. It's open in the summer as well, though I'm not sure what are the times, until what time it's open in the summer, probably later. But if you want to buy petrified wood...
Yeah, there's opportunity to buy petrified wood around the park, so there's plenty of shops, but one place that has the unpolished petrified wood where you can dig it out of the ground, or at least see piles of it in the ground, is at Dobell Curios. So it's
a private property southwest of Petrified Forest National Park.
Yep, and so what you would do, you would check it out, the phone number online. You go to the location, and you can call the person who owns that area, and they'll bring you up in their truck. You just follow them. There'll be a parking lot up the road, and you park there, and then there'll be tons of petrified wood that they have dug out over time along their property, where you can go and sift through and make your own pile of petrified wood. And it's a lot cheaper than if you bought it in the store. It's unpolished, so if you want to polish it up, you'd have to do that yourself. But it's just pretty cool seeing the unpolished wood, and Alexandra has an example here.
Yes, so we got a couple of pieces, no more than a couple, but these are a couple of pieces. And on this one you can actually see the bark of the tree, which is really, really cool. And then inside it's crystallized. You can see the different colors of quartz, blue, red, black. So it's a really fun thing to do, and it's perfectly legal because it's outside of the national park. And if you want to buy, if you just want to go there and buy a little souvenir, you can also buy some at the shop inside Petrified National Park, and all the petrified wood sold there is bought from outside companies outside the national park. None of it is petrified wood from the park.
Yep. So it's pretty fun. So you make your pile, and then you can always ship it back to your house. Via the USPS flat rate shipping. We sent quite a few pounds back up to where we live.
Yeah.
So so definitely worthwhile to check it out. Mm-hmm. Other great things about Petrified Forest National Park is that there used to be some ancestral puebloans that lived there about 700 years ago. So you are able to see some of those old structures or ruins in the park. It's a great park if you have a few hours and you want to drive through it, stopping at the overlooks. There's plenty of overlooks along the painted desert side and a few in the park itself, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's many short marked hikes, longer unmarked hikes in the trail, and also backcountry opportunities for hiking. So unlike most national parks, where people stay on the trails and you can't go outside of them, Petrified Forest National Park, I think, is one of the only ones where you can go anywhere in the park. So, or practically anywhere. You're just able, pull off on the side of the road and, make your own trail and head on out. And so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing because it really is a big national park, actually. I mean, if you want to go, you can really go explore and have fun, and so that's definitely neat too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we did both marked hikes and a couple unmarked hikes, and all were pretty interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in a minute. And it's also a pet-friendly national park, so you have to keep your pets on leash, and they can go on any paved trail, which is pretty nice because you can actually go and see petrified wood with your furry friend, and you have to clean up after your pet, of course. But this is one of the most pet-friendly national park that we've visited.
Mm-hmm. So when you're ready for hiking, head down to the visitor center and pick up Petrified Forest National Park brochure. It'll give you a little layout of the park.
And they also have actually hikes of the beaten path hikes. They actually have one-pagers they can give you, and this is really the official trails that you can do just going off your car and doing a little 1 mile trail, but they have more information, so you can definitely check with the park ranger, and they will be helping you finding the perfect hike for you. And starting south of Petrified Forest National Park, right next to the Rainbow Museum, you have the giant logs, and it is a trail that has a little guidebook, so you can just pick it up at the beginning of the trail. You can buy it, I think, for $1, and it will will give you a lot of history about the trees and what you're seeing on the way. You can see trees with roots. They will indicate where there used to be a branch, and you can see it's just really interesting. They give you a lot of information if you've never been there. It's really a great introduction to the Petrified Forest, and you can see a lot of big, colorful logs, including one that is called Old Faithful, which is almost 10 feet long. And so it's a fun one, and it's a really short hike. It's a half-mile walk on the paved trail. So it's really easy to do. Another hike that is really nice, and where you can also see really long trails that we were talking about, is called Long Logs, and a little further on this trail there is also a place called Agate House, and they're both on the same trail. So it's a 2.6 mile round trip if you do both location. And we went first to Agate House, which is actually a house made of petrified wood. It's been reconstructed, and so apparently ancestors were believed to live there 700 years ago. and so it was a homemade that had 8 rooms, I believe, and it doesn't seem like they lived very long there. It's a pretty harsh environment, but it's still a really cool thing to go and check out. And then walking back to the parking, you can actually stop and go along the Long Logs, and there are also gray badlands right there, which is really beautiful. It's really kind of like Martian-like looking environment. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. Next is Blue Mesa Trail, and that's a 1 mile loop with blue badlands, and it's pretty breathtaking. It goes so you start up at the top for the parking lot, then you go down into the badlands, and along the way you'll find petrified wood that looks like exactly like just a tree been cut, and it's not as it's more sparse, the petrified wood, than in other areas of the park, but it's definitely worthwhile doing the hike. Crystal Forest is another cool trail. It's a paved 1 mile loop where you can stop and admire thousands of petrified wood pieces of many sizes. It's a great hike for families if you don't have much time, and yeah, you can see all different colors of the minerals inside the petrified wood. And lastly, so one trail that we did that we really liked, and it's off the beaten path, is called Martha's Butte Trail. It's 3.5 miles round trip, and it's really fun if you're just looking for a trail where you just want to get out and just walk for a couple miles and see a lot of petrified wood. But on this trail you end up at a big mound with a bunch of rocks, and petroglyphs are on those rocks, and then there's some cool trees around there. So one tree is sticking out of like a big mound where half of it's covered and half of it's uncovered, and it's pretty cool around there.
Yeah, it's really a nice hike. We really enjoyed this one, and you'd have to do a little bit of pathfinding, which makes it fun, if you like hiking and finding your way out. That was definitely a fun one. So this is it for Petrified Forest National Park.